Lesson 3.3 is the last type of journaling that we will learn how to do, which is journalizing transactions that affect owner's equity and when we receive cash on account. So let's go through a couple different examples. They're very, very similar to what we have been doing. We get our transaction like normal, which is received cash from sales, and we create our T accounts for the transaction. So for my first keyword here of cash, I've got that T account, and my second keyword here is sales, which is a type of owner's equity. Now remember, sales is always a credit, so that makes things very easy here. The first thing we're going to do is drop our date down in the date, and then we'll list our debit. When I receive cash, that's a debit. So I will go into the special amount column of cash, and I will debit $295. Remember, my sales, always a credit. And this cool thing about our journal is that it has that special amount column that's listed sales credit, because that's all it's ever going to be. So we'll put our sales credit in that column. Now, here's the only weird special thing. When you use two special amount columns, so two columns that have the account titles in the name, we don't have anything under account title. So we are going to check it off by using the letter V, because the letter V looks kind of like a check mark. So anytime I have two special amount columns and I don't have anything that goes under account title, I will check or put a V under account title. And then the last thing is my document number, which is T12. Next up, on August 12th, I have sold services on account to Oakdale School for $350. So the first thing I do is I find my keyword here. It's sold services. That goes with sales. And then I've got on account, and its buddy is sold. So when I sell something, I should receive money. So I'm going to have accounts receivable. I will start by dropping my date down, and then I'll go through. I know that sales is always a credit, so I'll drop that in the special amount column. If I've got a credit, accounts receivable has to be a debit. This is a general amount column, so I can fill it in there. And if I use a general amount column, I have to list the account title. So accounts receivable to Oakdale School. The last thing I can do is drop sales invoice down into my document number. Next up, I've got paid cash for rent. My first keyword here is cash. My second keyword here is rent, which is a type of expense. So I'll start with my date, August 12th. Paying cash is a credit, so I can drop that in the cash credit special amount column. And then rent is an expense. If I have a credit, my rent expense is going to be my debit, and that's a general amount column. Again, if I use the general amount, I need to list an account title, so rent expense. And then my doc number here is check number 4. On August 18th, I've received cash on account from Oakdale School. So I've got cash as my first keyword, and accounts receivable, so account and received, as my second keyword. I'll start with my date. Receiving cash is a debit, so I'll drop that in the special amount column. If I have a debit, I have to have a credit, and accounts receivable is a general column. Again, if I use the general, I'll list the specific account title. So accounts receivable, Oakdale School. Then my doc number here is R2 for receipt number 2. The last type of owner's equity you might have is a withdrawal or personal use. So paid cash to owner for personal use. Cash is my first keyword. My second keyword here is owner. Its buddy is personal. So personal stuff is drawing. That again is a T within a T. I'll start off with my date, August 18th. Paying cash is a credit. So cash special amount column of credit is $125. If I have a credit, I have to have a debit. So I'm going to debit my general amount column for $125. And then if I use that general amount column, I list the account title. So this would be name, comma, drawing. And then lastly, I'll fill in my doc number of check number 6, C6.